the recording so we have the backup. I don't even see how to do that. I saw.
Did.
Oh, you know what?
Started the
You gotta
recording.
start it. You did. Okay, great. Okay.
Yep. Yes. Well, good morning. This is Andrew Williams Jr. with the Revelation Network, TRN International News. And we have Lady Alicia Hamilton, our CEO, along with Ambassador James Mercy, who's our TRN Nigeria correspondent, and Adiri Agnes Abioni from Nigeria as well. So, Pastor James, I'm going to let you start. I'm going to put myself on mute, and please give us an introduction as to why we're here. Can we see you? Is it possible to share your video or not?
We see
morning,
him.
good evening, and good afternoon, everyone. You are hearing us. We are from Nigeria. I'm James Mercy of Batumibi, this correspondent of the TRN Nigeria chapter here. We call this program or this meeting to more about the issue going on in Nigeria concerning the NSAS issue, and it has become a world protest now, and it's getting out of hand. Though the president has addressed the youth and the whole nation last night, and by now we think and we believe everyone will calm down or slow down the speed at which it was moving right before now. Though there are still other issues and serious things we'll be hearing from other states. But as of yesterday, immediately the president spoke, the issue has been coming down a bit. The president was telling the whole youth and the nation last night that their protest, their cry has gone to them, I mean the whole government, and they have heard them loud and clear, and that's how you put it, that they have heard them loud and clear that they are going to start doing something on what they have all said, and the reformation of the police and other security agencies, the empowerment program that ought to have been on ground before now, I think is trying to make a good point from all what the youth were demanding from the government. And enjoining everyone to go back to their businesses, to their offices, to their homes, and see and to maintain peace. But in Lagos State, there was a curfew that has been since 3 days ago, which is going to elapse today, on Friday. So people are still unable to go to their various offices or businesses. And I think by Monday, hopefully, we believe everybody will be back to their offices and businesses. So we are looking forward to seeing a better Nigeria and a reformed police as a whole, and to see the involvement of the youth in politics, in communities, because it's as if the youth are being abandoned, ignored. But with this protest, I know it is now clear to the government that they need the youth to come on board to do something. So that's what we are here to discuss more and debate more on these things and a way forward. So what are the things we are expecting the youth to do henceforth? Then what are the things we expect government to do? So that's why we're here. And with me here is Idris Agnes. If others will be lucky to join us, we'll still be expecting them, because we're expecting more, about other 6 or 7 to join us here. But Agnes is here. So Agnes would like to hear your side, your own view, and what has happened so far, because this We have been on this since 3 years ago. We have been reporting back to TRN, United States, from Nigeria, what has been happening. And you are here to speak your own view. Here. There are some you witnessed because I saw some of your pictures when you went out for protest too. So let's hear your own side of the story. We're still waiting for others. So Agnes, over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Or good morning, everyone.
Good day.
My name is AHIABGA-TV, and I'm in Lagos. What has happened so far is heartbreaking. Personally, for me, for 3 days, I was not okay. I was broken. I was down. It affected my heart. My mind was messed up by what has happened. But however, talking about SARS or the campaign or protest against SARS did not just start this month. SARS campaign actually started in 2017. However, it was strictly online. That was when the hashtag #EndSARS was first created, strictly online. But more recently, due to the killings in Ughelli Delta State, Nigeria, the youth were provoked to really come out and address this issue that concerns everybody. I believe in Lagos, personally for me to have been stopped once by anti-crime squad, because if you are young and you seem to look good at the time, you're dressing fine and you're looking beautiful or looking handsome and neat, you are likely into cybercrime. Now, the cybercrime topic is for another day. But for NSAS protest in Lagos, especially, it was not a good one. First of all, the protest on the 8th of October, and it began as a peaceful protest. What the youth wanted, because I was part of the protest, so I was mostly online. What we asked for was that the government should, first of all, we gave them a 5 agenda points, which was, first of all, they should release all arrested protesters or all young persons that have been arrested for crimes they did not commit. That was the first ultimatum they gave. And the second ultimatum was for justice, because many young persons, they've died. Many innocent people, they've been killed without any trace, butchered as if they are cows and goats in the abattoir. So the youth asked the Nigerian government to release the innocent people that they held in prison over crime-related issues. To justice of people that died. There are some police officers, SAS officers that are using the SAS for evil to for people. So this was peaceful protest that's well. Which
Agnes, your connection was a little slow. Can you repeat what you just said, please? Your connection was very slow. Can you repeat what you just said, please? We cannot try it again. Yes, please. Just say it. Whatever you just said, say it again. For our audience, we're experiencing technical difficulties. We have Idiri Agnes Abioni in Nigeria. That's our correspondent for TRN International News. Oh, there you are. Welcome back. Let's try it again. The floor is yours again.
Okay, thank you. So as I was saying before the letter of discussion, the youth gave 5 demands from the Nigerian government, and one, which I said they asked the government to release all unlawfully arrested young people, especially the protesters. 2, in Nigeria, for people that have been wrongly accused and killed without sympathy. And 3, they asked that an independent body be set up to investigate and persecute the faulty officers, the faulty members of the police force that are perpetrating evil. And 4thly, they asked that in line with the new police conduct and an external body to checkmate that all SAS members of the SAS squad be and if to be redeployed to another unit, they have to be evaluated mentally. They have to be evaluated mentally if they can undo the other unit. And lastly, they ask that the government should increase the police salary so that they can add enough for their needs, to cater for their needs, to ensure adequate protection of the citizens. So those were the 5 things the youth demanded from the governor. And the protest, like I said earlier, has been peaceful in all parts of Lagos, in all parts of Nigeria, in every little communities. People were engaging in this protest to the point that even our mothers and fathers were coming out in their numbers. Religious organizations were being involved because at a point, the focus of this for personal risk.
The network is bad here. Agnes? The network is bad. So, yeah, as you can see, Ambassador Andrew, this is another 5 points demands from all the youth in Nigeria. So these are their demands from the government. You can see number 1 is the constitutional reform. This constitutional reform is about the security agencies that has been, as you can see, the demand for the release of the protesters, compensate families of victims that has been killed or injured in this process, and to investigate and prosecute all reports of misconduct, prescribe size and reveal the welfare of police be implemented immediately. As part of the constitutional reform, agenda 1 of the demand of the youth. He said, however, we believe that the systematic riot in the police is widespread across the government institution. Therefore, we urgently demand an immediate institutional reform across all federal government institutions, agencies, and parastatals, especially focused on national security. So we point this out as the number 1 agenda for the demands of the youth concerning this protest. We can see it just beyond disband, disas. No, it's beyond that. So number two, if you are there, Pastor Andrew, is a cost of governance. We have watched over the years the waste associated with governing Nigeria. We have noted that publication and unprofessionalism in the civil service and across all strata. We demand an urgent budgetary framework with 50% capital expenditure and 50% current expenditure in non-appropriation bills. I think that is all clear to us, because all this in the government is youth are seeing this as what ought to be looked into and what action has to be taken. Is that we demand a drastic reduce in the cost of governance. We also demand that the National Assembly be first streamlined into a unicameral legislative and be further stripped down to become a part-time job. The huge salaries and benefits accorded them by the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation, and Fiscal Commission should be reduced to the barest minimum. I think we got that too. It's part of the demands of the youth from the government, because they see it fit to be done. And as well, the constitutional reform for number 3, this is constitutional reform. The youth wants the constitution to be reformed. There have been several constitutional reviews with youth, where youth were obviously absent. I have said that earlier on. So in the constitution, it is as if there's no youth in the country. So constitution has not been supporting the youth, or has not been recognizing the youth. This is what the youth are putting across here, whether by omission or commission or both. The time has come for an informed and progressive participation by the youth. That is, the youth must be involved in government. They should be involved in policies or whatever they might be doing. The Nigeria Constitution, as it exists presently, does not serve all Nigerians. A more robust and engaged constitutional designed and approved by all Nigerians will serve the nation. So it is when everybody is being recognized in the constitution, that is when the constitution can serve the nation. He said we demand an urgent referendum within 90 days to begin the line-by-line review, constitution, reconstruction, and upgrade of the expand constitution to be more functional for the 21st century nation. The selection process for the referendum will be 50% young people under 60 nominated by their peers in the transparent, judicious, and fair process. We demand that credence be given to terms of citizenship over indigenous and state of residence over state of origin. So they look into this too, because it's part of the problem we are facing in Nigeria. If this could be done as the youth has demanded, I think it will be better for all Nigerians. Then agenda number 4, for the demands of the youth from the government, we have education reforms. 1 in every 5 of the world out of school children in Nigeria, about 13.2 million Nigerian children aged 15 to 14 years are not in school. The impact of these numbers will be felt for generations. As you can see that, and this is just the truth. Children are out there that they cannot go to school, they cannot afford going to school. Even the government say the education is free, the primary school for primary school. Yet they pay for uniform, they pay for some other things. We have some that cannot even avoid paying for uniform. And before they enter, there are some things they tell them to go and look for. Somebody that cannot feed himself, you say he must bring tax receipt or tax card. How will he be paying tax? Somebody that is not even eating, is jobless. So the condition for the poor to put child to school is another problem. And this is what the youth are talking about here. They said we demand that a state of emergency is declared in the education sector and demand increase of the budget allocation of educational sector by 50% and to double again within the next 24 months. So this is part of the demand of the youth. We demand that 3 in an annual independent external audit of fund allocation and project execution from government approval to disbursement across the ministry, which will further be used to publish at less an averaged financial statement available digitally to ensure transparency. We demand that teachers should be intensified to attract the best brain and should be standardized and professionalized. We demand that the parents of any child not in school will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. We demand a systematic overhaul in our curriculum and method of teaching to upgrade a digital experience. So this is under educational reforms that the youth are demanding from the government. And we are serious about this. This is not just for publication's sake. Then the number 5 of the demand is health reform. Here, the youth demand that a state of emergency is declared in the health sector and demand increase in the budgetary allocation to health sector by 50%. It says we demand that there be an annual independent external audit of fund allocation and project execution from government approval to disbursement across the ministry, which will rather be used to publish at least an average financial statement available digitally to ensure transparency. I think the youth have gathered their knowledge together to write this.
Mm-hmm.
The further says we demand mandatory health insurance for the vulnerable population in our society, as NHIS is not doing enough to serve all Nigerians. We demand that adequate provision be put in place to protect the rights and privileges of physical challenges citizens in Nigeria. We demand urgent attention to mental health and a fund to set aside to create more professionals. Lastly, here, we demand proper implementation of the National Health Act of 2014, including the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. And this is demand number 5 from the youth. Now, coming to demand 6, the agenda is youth development reform. I think we have more words here. Youth development reforms. We have noticed the giant stride made by General Z and millennia across the globe. Many multi-billionaire corporations were funded by both generations in Nigeria. It is extremely difficult for such to occur. the enabling environment vis-a-vis investors and lenders, confidence, stable interest rate, and manageable inflation and conflict in our dear nation. We demand that a state of emergency be declared in the Ministry of Youth and Sport, Ministry of Science and Technology, and Ministry of National Planning. We demand that this should be adequately funded. Sport academy should be revamped. We also demand the creation of Youth Development Fund dedicated to growing the creative and agriculture. We demand the creation of the Youth Development Fund dedicated to growing and creating industries and agriculture. We demand that the not too young to run bill should be expanded to include 50% inclusion of youth under 40 in every cabinet in government. Lastly, here for demand 6, we demand that the youth inclusion be monitored by the FCC as they currently monitor state inclusion, and the NCB, NCDMB, and other stakeholders partake in this action to protect our future. Then we'll go to the last one, and that is the public office reform. So they look into public office too. We demand code of conduct reforms for all elected public office holders to have themselves and their children use public schools and public hospital only, violation of which is immediate impeachment and recall. Why are the youth coming up with this? Because the stakeholders are less concerned about the youth, about the less privileged, the vulnerable. They are less concerned because their children go to the highest paid institutions or colleges or primary schools, Montessori's. They have their children in the better hospital, the best hospitals in not even Nigeria, outside the country. So this makes them to ignore the public schools. They ignore the public hospitals because we still have some private hospitals that they can easily use. So the youth are demanding that there should be a code of conduct, that we buy them too, that their own children as well should be going to public schools and public hospitals. So by so doing, it will come to their senses that they need to build better schools with facilities and to pay the teachers well for the better education of our children. And as well, public hospital, that is, they will have themselves blamed if they fail to build better hospital for the Nigerians. And that's why the youth are putting this together. Then number 2 of this is that we demand immediate removal or immunity clause from public office holders to make them answerable to investigation at all times when and where necessary. Some of our stakeholders, if anything happens, at least the immunity, they use that to cover up. And they will not answer. Even the judge in the court of law, they call them, they summon them, they will not go, and nothing will happen. So we don't want that again. So no one is above the law, and that is what the youth are saying here. And furthermore, we demand immediate resignation of every public officer found guilty of any forms of crimes and corruption. They should step aside during investigation also. This is what we're talking about. There should not be any immunity here. If you commit a crime and you are found guilty, then you should be relieved of your office. Even while the investigation is on, you step aside. This is the justice the youth are fighting for. This is the youth they are protesting for, and it must come. It must be implemented. And lastly, here is a implementation of full digitization of the judicial process, praising the conjunction reforms with reforms drawn from past projects like the UI report, Kenya Mo's ministerial screening address, strict time limit to determination of industry litigations. Here, we're trying to say, whenever they are sitting for any hearing or court, it should be digitalized. So people want to hear what they are talking about. People want to see them, want to know what is going on. Then the prison that is congested, they should know what to do about it. There are some in the prison that has been there for 20 years now or more. 10 years, we have 15 years, that they have not even called them for once for hearing. There are many there. They just reminded them that. So why do we have judiciary? Do we have the lawyers? Why do we have a judge here? So these are what the youths are demanding from the government that they should look into. These are the reforms they want. They want justice. They want peace. They want to be involved in the government, and they want our constitutions to be reformed, revisited, that it will suit the youth and every Nigerian. So that is what we have here, Ambassador Andrew. I don't know if Agnes is back. Agnes, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
I see her here. Oh, okay, wonderful.
For quite some time.
Okay, thank God you're here. So we have just read the reforms. I saw here the demands of the youth concerning these NSAS. It's not just NSAS. Here we have just read 7-point demands of the youth from the government. So I believe you heard that. Yeah. Okay. So what do you want to say to that? Do you have any contributions to that?
Basically, I think you said all there is to say about that. But what I want to add is, based on what the president said yesterday,
okay,
because I listened to his speech, from the way he addressed the nation yesterday, so it was not sounding like he wanted to accommodate the youth opinion. It was fixing. It sounded like, this is what I will do, take it or leave it.
Is that how it sounded to you?
That's how it sounded to all of us protesting against NSAS. Because a lot has happened. A lot has happened within the past few days, rather. People died. This happened. And we needed more than what he said. We needed a lot of reassurance. You just came out and just said, don't worry, we'll sort it out. And we've been in this country since we've been born. Nothing is really coming out. And since this protest started, there have been no visible committee or panel that has been set up towards what these young people are asking for. Instead, the president was reminding us that they've set up Empower, Federal money, and some other incentive projects for the. Now, the problem we're facing now in Nigeria, many young people are graduates from professional field of study, doctors, doctors, lawyers in different industries. And these people, they went to school. We went to school, all of us, including me. We to school with the mindset that, oh, we're going to school to learn, we're out. We have a space in society to showcase what we can do to influence and impact. What we want the government at large to let us know that, okay, we can fit in to industries, we can be brought into platforms, organizations that will be part of nation building. But instead, they're trying to stop us from. They're trying to make us not lose interest. That's the word. They're trying to make us lose interest in all of this. Okay, concerning the 7-point referendum that you just read, that the youth wants from Nigeria at large. Yesterday, the president said the and trader money and the other things listed set up. Before now, we didn't see any setup. We didn't hear about any of those things being set up before now. 1. 2, these young people are interested in government. From what we've been doing so far, it's obvious that's what we want. None of them right, has come out to address us and let us know that, okay, you can come and be in our team. Yesterday, the president called us so-called protesters. He said the so-called protesters, you have to discontinue protests and people can go back to their activities. If not, so there was a threat in his speech. And what we are crying about is we want emotions from these leaders. They are supposed to be like our fathers, our parents. We want them to be involved. But from what Barry said yesterday, from what has been happening, they're telling us that this is how we roll, this is how we deal, take it or leave it. No reference was made about towards the people that lost their lives. No sympathy speech, no mention about them that, oh, a lot of people died, we are sorry. No. Instead, the president sounded like these youth are a group of rebellious children and they've committed a lot of atrocities in the community and the nation at large by destroying lives and properties. They should stop or face the wrath. Talking about hearing us loud and clear. Yes, they said they made us loud and clear because we've been very loud and clear. But since the protest started before yesterday, no government official came out to address the we have senators, we have House of Representatives, we have other arms of government. Nobody came out to say anything. We were just so right now, if the government, the president of Nigeria, the government of life, what as this is on. However, I'm not going to come out. I'm not going to come out in the streets to be placards and campaigning and protest. No, we are going to retreat into our unit, into our corner. We still be irritated. Yes, we come out strong. But what the these people will not come up with smiles on their face.
And it looks like we're losing your sound again, dear. We're losing your sound again. It's not clear, the last thing you said. Uh-oh. It looks like we're having some network difficulties again. What you, okay, well, what you have said is so powerful, and I'm so impressed and so grateful for the youth, and you're standing up so strong. I see that your petition, the 1747, has almost 43,000 signatures now on change.org. And hopefully from this interview and sharing it, and also getting it before more people to support you, those numbers will go up. But it sounds like the challenge is that the people who are in leadership are not quite sure what to do yet. It sounds like this is so well written. I'm thinking we need to have this in the United States, the things we're dealing with, some of these issues here as well. It's a global concern, really. I'm so sorry for the people who've lost their lives, and that it had to get to a point like that for people to die before there was attention drawn to the atrocities that are taking place. But unfortunately, it seems like that's the way of mankind now. They don't pay attention until someone's shot dead, or some knee is on the neck of some innocent man, or some challenged man in the streets. But clearly what you have brought forth is very powerful and needs to be addressed. So it sounds like this will have to be a story that we follow, and see if some of these leaders will step up and do something. Because from what I'm gathering from what you said, you have this amazing document that presents a construct that needs to be addressed. You've given solutions, and it sounds like the president yesterday basically said, okay, we'll take care of it, go home, it's going to be okay. And you're saying, no, you've been saying that for my whole life. And we want to see some addressing of these concerns, and no one has come out to address anyone yet. And that is the issue at hand, that there's still nothing that's tangible that says there is going to be something done to make the changes that the youth are demanding. At least with the petition, you have support, but who's going to make the change? And so we know that this is an ongoing story we must follow. And we, of course, will try to get the word out here and promote the information, not only to supporters, but hopefully to people who can also support and help make change. But I thank you so much for your coverage and sharing this, Dr. James, Pastor James. And I know there are more people that will be joining the reporting process as from the other states there in Nigeria to come forward and share. Thank you, Andrew, for putting that up. That's the petition that has you can sign if you're watching this broadcast. You can go to change.org/747 and sign and share and show the youth that they are not alone. And truly, this is not just a problem in Nigeria. This is a problem all over the world. But right now, we're focused on supporting the youth in Nigeria. Andrew, you want to make a statement about what you will be doing with this moving forward?
Well, yes, thank you so much, Pastor James. And thank you also for being our TRN International News correspondent there in Nigeria. We do want to let everyone know that TRN.TV, we're dedicated to making change and also to empowering people. The whole point of the students' demands was to have transparency and to have an ability for everyone to see what's happening, so all make our decisions. I thank both of you, Lady Alicia and Chaplain James, for being part of our collaboration to promote the 10 principles of the United Nations Global Compact. The first section deals with human rights, which is certainly at risk here. Then we have the labor. Then we have environment. But number 10 is anti-corruption and transparency. So I dedicate myself to assisting you in this matter, and I believe we can use this momentum to carry us forward throughout the rest of the year and beyond. Having said that, I do want to thank our audience for joining. Yes. having said that, I want to thank our audience for joining us. And I do, Pastor James, want to begin to schedule maybe daily meetings that we record and upload. But as we move forward, I do want to make sure that we have representatives in all 36 of the districts in Nigeria, so that at any moment we can provide to the world not just a picture, but a real-time scenario and reporting from on the ground. So I look forward to making sure that happens with Lady Alicia and the Revelation Network, TRN.TV. Please go to TRN.TV and select 003 as your channel. This is the place where we'll be covering all these activities.
Thank you.
So back to you, Lady Alicia, to close us out, or to Pastor James for any closing thoughts.
Yes,
Yeah,
let's hear from Pastor James first. Yes.
Thank you, Lady Alicia and Ambassador Andrew, for this opportunity, sharing with us in this pain and in this agony. And we'll look forward for more support from you and from TRN to see, because after this massacre that happened, after this protest, I know so many houses have been burnt, so many offices have been burnt. So there are still going to be more challenges out there. But
Right.
no matter how, God will help us. So we still need more help from you. Ambassador Andrew, if you could check your WhatsApp, I've sent some video. Maybe that will be for tomorrow, where the police and the wives of the police gather together having their protest as well, that the youth should stop killing their husbands, that police are their friends and not the enemy. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow, because they are trying to fight back. So we couldn't know where that is going to end now, but we believe as everything is going to come as the president has ordered everyone to go back to their businesses, offices. So we are hoping peace will reign in Nigeria. So thank you.
Okay, very well. I just looked at the video. So tomorrow we'll show them, but I think it will be important, if we can, to begin to download these videos so we can share them on a wider audience. But yes, so tomorrow at 5 p.m. in Lagos, Nigeria, we'll be back and we'll have part 2 of this ongoing daily conversation. All so right. That, Lady Alicia, I'm turning it back over to you to wrap us up.
Yes. Again, I want to acknowledge that on TRN, we look at what's happening in the world from a faith-based perspective. And we look forward to having Woke International and Pastor James with his channel and presentations. But our news, our global news perspectives are brought on TRN International for the purposes as well of looking at it from a spiritual perspective and the aspect of what we can do in the duality of our experience, being spiritual beings having a human experience. In the natural, we see these things happening, but I do believe in the power of prayer, and to just really take a moment, if all of us take a moment and really go before the throne of God to ask for direction, for prayer, and for the hearts of these people to be just pierced, and to have some compassion and mercy upon the things that they do and impact others in their.
Oh, Alicia, I apologize. I muted you by mistake. Please go right ahead.
That whole thing? Everything was
No. Just the last 30 seconds. I was trying to mute myself and muted you. So we heard you for the last 10 seconds.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure what you heard, but what I'm trying to say is, and I don't know if this was caught, that the TRN, the Revelation Network, is our faith network. We look at the world from a spiritual perspective, same events that's going on, but being spiritual beings having a human experience. We know that there's news, but then there's the things behind the news. What motivates people to do the things they do in the realm of the spirit? And I'm prayerful that we can all take a moment to stop and pray about the things that are going on with leadership in our world, that their hearts would be pierced to stop this governing from a place of fear and anger and pride and ego. There's got to be a better way for humankind. And also prayer for these youth and support that they need to continue to be emboldened to do a peaceful protest, and the support that they need. May all of us take a moment to stop and pray and look at the motivation in the heart and the spirit to do better for each other, to do better as human beings for each other. And so I'm hopeful that as we continue to bring this story forward, that we will also witness a move of spirit and a breaking of this horrible, this binding that we have in the world to govern by fear and not by love, and to embrace love instead of hate. And so with that being said, we will continue to bring this, and we thank you, Agnes. May God protect you and cover you and keep you safe. And we also pray for the protection of the youth in Nigeria and around the world. And we pray for those listening to take a moment and stop and let's look at a better way for this world to go forward. We do not have to live like this. And may we do better by each other, especially our leaders. You're called out right now to do better for the people you've been blessed to govern. So govern with love instead of fear. And let's do better for our youth. They're going to be leading this world. We have to give them everything they need so they can lead with a sense of ability to execute the things. How beautiful this document that has been written by them. They've gone to school. Now they want to bring what they've learned to better their country. May they have that opportunity. So I just take a moment, you can bear with me, to look at this from a TRN perspective as we bring the news from TRN International, directed by our media ambassador and director of international news, Ambassador Andrew Williams Jr. So thank you, Pastor Mercy, and thank you, Agnes. We will continue this conversation and align, as always, with the hearts of people who embrace peace, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and also the ability to really see the Africa we want through Agenda 2063. With that being said, we will bring you this broadcast again. Look for our update and notices that we're now bringing you the updated story. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. And in closing, thank you, Pastor James, for your work with the World Organization for World Humanitarian Organization for Peace and Equity. And I'm very pleased and proud to be the chairperson of the International Advisory Board. So I'm calling upon all of our ambassadors around the world to join our collaborative. And I look forward to finding ways we can make this happen and move forward in this International Decade for People of African Descent. But also, it's the 75th anniversary of the founding of the United Nations, which championed the Declaration of Human Rights. In Africa, it was the first sub-Saharan African Secretary General in 2000 that started the United Nations Global Compact. But this year, for the African Union's Agenda 2063, the theme is silencing guns. So I can think of no better way than we can silence the guns in our own streets, in our own communities, not just from the police upon us, but between ourselves. So I certainly look forward to working with you, and we want to invite everyone to join us in the future. Thank you so much. This is the end of today's conversation. Have a fantastic day.